Well, my head has been cracking open lately with people using AI to try to build messaging and to try to connect with people. And I get why. Like, I understand why, because it's fast, it's good. It'll put things in writing and use like subjects and verbs and adjectives and all that stuff. And it can read all right. The issue is it really helpful? And in most cases, it's a good start. Like, it's a good start. So let me start that. But before I dig into AI and how to use AI to connect and build trust and communicate, I think we've got to take a step back and deal with like actual real live human emotion. So I pulled up a presentation. I'm not giving this presentation, Elizabeth, in years, right? I used to do this before I got my infancy, before we kind of specialized in the categories we do, was I did crisis management. I mean, I did crisis management for clients all around the nation, from like really nasty stuff. Yeah, people injured, people shot, accidents, crashes, not sweet things. And that's my legal background, right? But the psychologist in Brian was like, wait a minute, we can handle crises better if we can fundamentally start to uncork our emotional response. And there was something after years of studying. I mean, I didn't discover this. A lot of people discovered this. I just kind of unfiltered a lot of different studies, which is there are certain emotional responses that we all as humans have, and they're not real good for winning, right? They're emotional. They're not necessarily good for winning. I'm not saying all these emotional responses are bad, but in some cases, stress and pressure freak us out. So I know that many people don't look at our YouTube channel, but I have slides today from this old presentation, Elizabeth. So if you want to see the slides, I'm switching over for the video. If you want to see the slides about this, and they're for some first class, high speed, low drag slides, right? Okay. Like made like 10 years ago, right? So what's the YouTube channel if people want to go check the slides out?
At Lawyer BJS.
At Lawyer BJS? Not Brian J, just BJ. I did not know what our handle is. I don't know. We'll put in the link to the podcast or something. You can go check the images out, because I think they may provide some help. Okay, so first off, why do we react so poorly, right? And one of the reasons why we react poorly is because of stress and anxiety and pressure, right? And so this chart I have up right now is kind of basically a bell curve. And the bell curve, on one side of the bell curve, it's like you're bored. You're bored. On the other side of the bell curve, on the other end, is you're burned out and you're stressed out. And that's when you make both sides, by the way, you can make really bad decisions. And it's kind of, think about it like this. If you've got like one thing to do this weekend, you are likely to to be Sunday night and be like, oh my God, I haven't done that one thing, because you just had plenty of time. There's no pressure. And then you forget to do the one thing you're supposed to do. But if you have 75 things to do, you freak out. Who knows what you get done, and you're stressed out. But if you have like 5 or 8 things to do, have you noticed you just kind of get them done, right? Because the 8 things are like right in that sweet spot of there's good pressure, but when pressure turns to stress and strain and burnout, we react poorly. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take a deep breath, everybody. Okay, we're going to take a deep breath, and you've got to know where you are at any given time. Okay, so I got to admit, like, there's certain people in my life I know are going to create anxiety. I know they're going to create pressure, and my stress, my cortisol level starts going up. So I need to recognize that's occurring. When a parent comes into a school and they are barking and yelling, even if they're totally right or totally wrong, emotionally it's the same reaction, which is, stress. And what do we do when we stress? What do? We panic a little bit. We don't act appropriately. I say some really nasty things when I'm under pressure. I fight very, very poorly when I'm really stressed out. I mean, I am a huge horse's butt, and that is to be delicate. I mean, I'm a vicious fighter, and I got to keep emotionally centered, or, I make really bad decisions. And also, if I'm really bored, I get into trouble. I get into mischief, and I do really dumb things too, right? So we got to find that sweet spot. So first step, know where you are and predict situations coming up. Predict how you're going to feel in certain circumstances. That way you're able to use the tools we're going to talk about in this podcast. We're going to get there. We're going to get there. Now, I would say this, and I have a little analogy from airborne school, right? I remember airborne school. I don't remember all aspects of the Army. I think I blocked some of it out. Is the good times, the bad times, whatever. But I remember airborne school very, very well because little Brian Stevens at 18 was afraid of heights. I did not like heights. I wasn't like, I'm not going to jump out of a perfectly good airplane. That is crazy sauce. That is cuckoo birds. Why would I want to do that? And I know it's a volunteer Army, but I did not volunteer for airborne school. I got shoved into it because that's the path I was on for, anyway. Okay. So here I am going to airborne school knowing I am afraid, right? And so the first thing they do is they have it broken down into 3 weeks. The Army is actually pretty methodical with like how they train in exposure, right? The first thing they do is get you used to just jumping and landing. I mean, like you're standing like on flat ground and you jump and roll over. You jump and roll over and like you have 5 points of contact on the side. You do it over and over. You're in the lunch line. You're before you leave, right when you show up, just over and over. You just jump so many times, it just becomes repetitive. Massive exposure. That's what the key is, massive exposure. And then the next week, they call it Tower Week. And they take you up on these, I think it's a 34-foot tower, which is like, I don't know. I didn't read this, but somebody told me this. It's like the optimal distance. Like, that's high enough to get hurt. That's the fear height. I don't know if that's true, but it was pretty scary. And you have like a strap on your back and you just jump out and you bob along on a little wire and kind of float down, right? So you're not practicing jumping. You're practicing just jumping out. Because by the way, if you jump out of a plane, you got to jump out of the plane, right? Like you got to actually jump out of the plane, right? And then they take you up to like this 250-foot tower. And it's like they pull you up and they just drop it. And woo, daddy. I think I only did that a couple of times. And by the time you've done that, and you've landed, and you've landed, and you've landed, and you've landed, you get to jump week, and then you've got to jump, I think, 5 times to get your airborne wings or whatever. So, and that's just in your practice week, so you can become a qualified parachutist, right? And so, I'm telling you, Brian, 2.5 weeks before this, scared to death of heights. By the time it came to jump out of that plane, I was like, I do not care. I just want to get this done. I don't care. Just open the door. Let's rock and roll, man. I'm like, I was exhausted of practicing. I was exhausted of being exposed. I took that same exposure tactic to studying for the bar exam, by the way. Same exact thing. I had, like, people thought I was insane, right? I had 3 blocks a day to study for the bar exam. And 4 hours in the morning, 4 hours in the afternoon, 4 hours in the evening. I think it was Sundays. I would take like half day and do like just 8 hours. And I was so exhausted of studying the law. I was ready for the bar. I did not care if I passed, failed. I don't care if the parachute opened. I didn't care if I was jumping. I was going because I had gotten so prepared that I wasn't stressed out anymore, man. And same thing with like giving a speech, guys. They say that a speech is the scariest thing that there is, right? I mean, people are more afraid of public speaking than they are afraid of death. Isn't that weird? I know it was like a survey done years ago, and it's like, most people said speaking. Well, it's just exposure. You just got to practice, right? So coming back around to the stress and how we react poorly is you got to practice, right? I mean, you've got to not be afraid and avoid situations of conflict. And what I want you to do is start treating it like a little chess game. Okay, it ain't checkers, it's complex, but let's just start treating disruption, difficult people, difficult situations as a game, because they are. It's a game, man. Nobody's like gonna lose their life, right? I mean, under most circumstances. I know somebody's always got an analogy. Well, I think that the parent screaming at me is gonna hit me, but they're not. Like it just doesn't really happen. It's a 0.001% chance. Like, let's deal with regular stuff, okay? And what I mean is, like, I know what we like to say. We love to say this. Drivers are terrible. Drivers are awful. Everybody drives poorly. Elizabeth, do you think people drive well?
No.
They do. They drive amazingly well. I mean, I passed by on my bicycle coming into work today. I don't know, 50, 100 cars passed me. None of them hit me. None of them hit me. Most people go to work and do not get in an accident every day. And if it was true that everyone was as bad as we think, there would be nothing but bumper cars going. Everybody, I mean, like, look, there's some terrible drivers. We fixate on that. We overly fixate and overly get concerned about scary conversations, and we inflate them. And we have all this fear and anxiety. And, oh, gosh, I can't think about who it was again. Why don't you have to search this word, which is almost everything that I feared didn't come true. Right? And I can't remember who said that. I'm out of my head. But it is true, right? Most of the things that we fear don't come to true. But that fear, and I need everyone to hear this. That fear is totally legitimate. It's totally real, and it's baked into your DNA. You cannot help it. I need you to understand, we're not talking about blame. We're talking about very human, innate emotions, fight or flight, okay? I'm sure that if people haven't heard of fight or flight, generally speaking, what this means is when we get spooked, when we get scared, when we get intimidated, we either want to run from it or beat it up. Run from it or beat it up. Now, go all the way back to 80,000 years ago or whatnot, and we're in caves and we got sticks, and there are real life and death situations in that situation, right? And if you are standing and you see a little bush rustling, oh, do you think, oh, butterflies, let me go look at butterflies. No, you think there's a wild animal and it's going to jump out and eat my face. So I either better boogie and get out of there, or I better get my spear ready. Now, if you're wrong, you lived. If you're right and you prepared, you lived. If you were like, you were dead and you're out of the gene pool. Survival of the fittest, you're gone. So that means everybody's generationally that has made it to where they are has fight or flight in them. I mean, every day. This is super normal. And you're not going to get rid of it. You have to recognize that it exists in you. Right? You got to recognize that it exists. And so if I'm talking teachers and parents or whatever, it's like, man, this is going to be a stressful situation. The parents are going to be crazy, or the teacher's not going to listen to me, or the student's going to be bad. Probably true. Let's prepare for it, though. Right? Let's prepare. Let's get ready. And that fight or flight is totally reasonable. And nowadays, they refer to it as, we got a couple others in modern society, which is fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. And you'll see a lot of people freeze. Like somebody's yelling or screaming at them, or it's serious, and they just sit there just with that look up, that blank look on. They're frozen. They're frozen. They're overwhelmed. They're completely disengaged, right? Or that you get kind of the political stance thing where people fawn. Oh my God, you're so right. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God, you're so smart. Oh my God. Anything to shut the conversation down. Anything not to have a conflict with another human being, because conflict is apparently the worst thing in the universe nowadays. Conflict's all right, man. It's all how you end up at the end of the conflict, or the perceived conflict, that matters, right? So fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. Now, this is in us. It happens. It's totally justified. Okay, so what I'm going to encourage us to do is none of those things, but to think. To think, to strategize. Now, the only way to do that is to recognize that you're not normally going to do that. Right? It's not natural. It's not instinctual. The instinctual thing is to fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. Okay, so let's kind of roll this back to the AI notes. We're scared about a conversation. We're nervous about a disagreement. We want to write a great email. We want to respond to somebody, whatever it is. And we now have this device. Then instead of us typing up our thoughts, we can have it type our thoughts for us. But it is going to take a lead from you. And in the state that you normally are on, you're going to make it want to fight. You're going to make it want to fawn, freeze, flight, or whatever. And by the way, I've been reading these statements and all these people lately. I love it. Brian, I did this in ChatGPT. What do you think? I think that it's a good start. But now we have to actually get rid of the emotion. You think you're using it with AI, right, Elizabeth? You think it's AI. It's not going to be emotional. These are large language models. They're pulling our language. They're pulling our thoughts, our hopes and dreams and fears and concerns. So it's going to pull that in there. And this is, I'm going to skip a lot of this psycho stuff about like cortisol and all that stuff. I think that I could explain for 8 hours why this fight or flight response is in us, okay? Just the thing that I feel bad about sometimes is that I think that people think that it's wrong to feel this way. It's normal. And I think that if you fight it and you try to act like this is not cool, I shouldn't be like this, and you beat yourself up about it, that's not a real healthy attitude to go forward with any of this stuff. Like, that's not healthy. It's cool to be you, man. And we're all humans. We're all just people. We're all just trying to get by. I mean, I used to think that my mentors, 20 years my senior, had it all figured out. No, they're just adults. They're just trying to figure it out too. Parents are just trying to figure it out. Kids are just trying to figure it out, man. It's just like, give yourself a break, man. Take the weekend off from stressing out about everything, man, and realize that these difficult situations that if you panic, like, it's good to know kind of who you are naturally. I am a natural fighter. not a natural fighter. I don't naturally run away from situations. I normally kind of run into them. Now somebody's going to go like, which one's better, right? Neither are very good. They're just different. And you can also change your response at different times with different people in different ways. Maybe somebody you feel really comfortable with, you want to beat the heck out of them when you get in a fight. Maybe you fight or vice versa. So we all have this, but there are, look, for any crisis, for any difficult situation, I don't care if it's dealing with a parent that the child's being held back, or the kids are being bullied, or the kids didn't get the classes they wanted to, or the school the school's shutting the school down, or whatever, their budget cuts, whatever it is. There's 7 responses to any particular, and I'll use the word crisis, but I think it's better to think about it as a speed bump. Why? Because you're going to get through it, man. It's going to be a bump. It's going to be disruptive, but you are going to be okay. And the first thing you have to do is go, okay, I'm getting ready to walk into a dicey situation, and I have to recognize I'm going to be emotional and I'm going to respond emotionally. So let's talk about these. Let's talk about these 7 responses, right? That are been out there for eons, right? 1, we attack the situation. We attack them. I'm not taking any crap from you. You better respect me, whatever that is, right? Or we get defensive. We all seen this. People get very defensive. It doesn't sound good to be defensive, right? We don't like defensiveness, but that is a very normal response, right? Start blaming. That's kind of an attack. Defense is, I try to do my best. I try to work really hard. I try to do everything I could. Da, 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 da. A counterattack is interesting. I love the counterattack. I mean, it is a personal toolkit of mine. When I get in a fight with somebody I love, I counterattack. It is nasty. Oh yeah, well, I didn't take the garbage out. Well, why did you sleep with my brother? Like nothing. Like that's called like I bring in a subject that has nothing to do with the topic at hand. It's completely an outlier. I don't have a brother, by the way, so not a real thing. Okay, but we counterattack. Like we're having a discussion, an argument, if you will, about situation A, and we bring up situation orange. Something completely outlandish from years ago, just because we don't know how to deal with the situation ahead because we're emotional, right? So you're in a fight with your spouse or your partner, and you bring up something from last year. Why? That's a counterattack, man, and you want to win that counterattack. Not very helpful at getting a great resolution. You're not thinking still. You're counterattacking. And a lot of times we just ignore the problem. We found out Robert Frost's poem the other day, right? Robert Frost, man. You have 2 roads. Take the road less traveled. Take the hard road, not the easy road. You're always going to end up on top. But to ignore situations, taking the easy road short term. If you ignore it, it does not resolve the issue. It just kicks the can down the road. And you don't like it when politicians do that. You don't like it when your leaders. You don't like it when your bosses do that. Why are you doing it? We know ignoring a problem, not directly dealing with it up front, and honestly, the way I'm going to get to in a minute, got to leave little cliffhangers, right? So ignoring's bad. And deflection's cute. Deflection is called like the pivot. And you'll see, go and watch any debate. And it's called pivot language. They ask you a question about, did you do, this question doesn't matter anymore, but it used to matter 20 years ago. Did you get a DUI? No, I don't know if people care. Did you get a DUI in 1986? And the politician goes, well, I think what's most important now is that we're going to keep a very prudent cash reserve in the budgets, and we're going to make sure we're fiscally responsible. They just ignore the question. You deflect it and just talk about something totally different, right? So there's no attacking there. You just are trying to basically change the subject. Right? And oh my God, I had a dude I was in law school with, and we practiced together for a while at a law firm, and he was the king of deflection. I mean, anytime something started to get ramped up, just out of the blue, he would look at everybody and goes, did you guys know that Sandy Duncan had a glass eye? And it had nothing to do with anything. Sandy Duncan was like a gymnast in the 80s or something like this. So we'd be like, Elizabeth, who's somebody popular now that everybody would know? Who? I don't know.
Simone Biles.
Okay, don't know who that is. Is she a singer?
Gymnast.
Oh, Simone. Oh, no. I know Simone. Okay. The gymnast.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's incredible. I'm sorry. That escaped me because I was thinking, yeah, Simone. Awesome. But that's like saying, did you know that Simone had a glass eye? I mean, it's not true, but all you're going to do is talk about whether or not she has a glass eye and how did she do the gymnast, how did she do the spins with a glass eye?
Exactly.
It's all BS, but it deflected you. Now you don't even remember what you're fighting about. It's not effective strategy to resolve the issue, though. Now, apology's interesting. I've written more statements, more briefs where people, and ChatGPT will do it, man, and Claude will do it. They'll just apologize. We are so sorry. Okay, think about it this way. I'm going to give you an analogy. Plane goes down. 222 souls lost. Real situations happens, right? The initial instinct is to say, we're so sorry this happened. We're so sorry about all this to the people, right? You know, an apology's good, but you're going to lose people. People aren't going to fly with your airline anymore, right? You need to advocate. And this is where we're going. What the airline needs to be doing, what you need to be doing in every difficult situation is to advocate for what you're doing to resolve the problem, right? What are you doing to, and this old side says sell, and I changed it since then to advocate. Because selling feels a little sleazy. I don't want to sell you. I want to advocate for a resolution. And so instead, the statement should be like, first off, let me tell you what we're doing for the victims. You advocating for what you're doing for the victims. You know, we've called them, we get this, we're getting all the resources there, we're taking care of people, we're contacting families. Now we're going to advocate for what we're going to do in the future to make sure this doesn't happen, right? And then you could certainly say, I'm sorry, we don't ever want this to happen. Sure, but if all it is an apology, you're going to get railroaded. I'm so sorry your child's being left behind. I'm so sorry that your child got a D. People don't want that. I mean, you might be sorry, but it's like, let me explain to you why the child's being held back. It does stink. It's awful. And I'm sorry for all of us that happens, but it's for the best interest of the child that the child does not get promoted to fourth grade because the child is reading at a first grade reading level. And we want to give that child an opportunity to be successful at life. And just to promote them to the next grade or to graduate them without the skills necessary means you're setting them up for long-term failure. But once again, we go back to Robert Frost. The hard road, right? No, I don't think that's right. Robert Frost's poem was A Road Less Traveled. I'm talking about a hard road and an easy road. That's not, anyway. So if there's a hard road and an easy road, the hard road is telling the parents the truth. Your child is not ready, but long-term, this is the best thing for them. Short-term, we'll just move them along because we don't want the headache. Long-term, they're going to be punished because they don't know how to read and write. They don't know how to be an awesome human being because we didn't prepare them because we took the easy road. We took the easy road instead of dealing with the conflict right then and there. If we really care about the child, if we really care about the person that we're dealing with, do we want to resolve it? And the key is you've got to, one, know where you are today emotionally. Maybe you need to come back to the talk if it's a little too worked up. What I'm trying to do is walk away when I get a little too heated up. I don't do it all the time, but it is the right call, right? And you have to recognize whether or not you've got this pressure situation going on, right? If you're just not able to handle it, let's say, can we table this just for a little bit? I want to resolve this with you. I want to make sure we have a positive outcome. I'm just too burned out or stressed out right now to do it. Can you give me 2 hours? But you got to deal with it now instead of long-term because the problems are going to build up. So look, the key right now, today, is to realize that in any messaging, any communication, no matter what ChatGPT or whatever, or your emotions are telling you. Now we have your emotions and we have the AI telling you the same thing, which is defensive posture, attacking posture, right? Apology posture, instead of advocating. So if you're going to use a clickety-clack AI, say, hey, look, man, I'm very emotional right now. I'm very upset. I need to be advocating for a positive outcome. If you just start to tell the agent that, you're going to get better messaging. Right? So, but I also want you to be a happier person. What? I do. I really do, man. I want to be happier too. I want everyone to be happy. And the way to deal with that is to realize there's bad stress in your life. We just want it to be pressure, not stress. And stress, I don't know if there's a great definition between the definition of pressure and stress, but I would say pressure, you're working towards a goal of resolution and positivity. It's just hard. Stress is you don't know what the outcome's going to be. You don't know how it's going to be resolved, and there's a lot of fear wrapped up into that. And so I want you to get centered, Try not to get overwhelmed. If you're a teacher, you're overwhelmed. If you work for a public school, you're overwhelmed. I'm sorry. I mean, we're trying to work on getting your budgets increased, man. We really are. But I want you to know that it's going to be all right. Your emotional responses are cool. Take a deep breath, get centered, and really the breathing works. Take 3 deep breaths and then work to advocate. And you got to make this a habit. You've got to be exposed to this over and over again to make thinking a habit and not your emotional responses. Well, this was a mouthful. I hope this helps. We'll dig into this more. If people want to really dig into any particular psychological response to Christ, hey man, let Elizabeth know. I don't read the comments. She doesn't let me. Okay. Hey, I appreciate it. I hope this helps. Bye.